Hello, welcome back to the 71th floor. I am Elliot.
I'm Konstantinos.
And
welcome back.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. What is today? Today.
What is today?
What is today?
Maybe you are AI, after all.
No, we're not. No.
No, we're not going back to that. So today's episode is a bit of a more personal issue.
Issue?
Oh!
Issue
no.
as in like magazine issue. Like a
Period.
Distributing it.
So today we'll be talking about hi gay. Yeah.
Oh, for Pride Month.
Oh!
Although this might actually not...
No, this might not come out until after Pride Month.
Damn.
But this is our Pride Month episode.
It's being filmed in Pride Month.
Yes. Maybe we'll switch it around. Switch the order around. Who cares? We'll see.
Well, I'm pretty sure in one of the episodes we've said, this is episode... So,
yeah.
oh, well.
See, that's why we shouldn't be numbering them. Anyway.
Yeah, so we can just wing it.
Yes, I guess this is our Pride Month episode. We're going to be talking everything gay.
Have you bought your Pride ticket?
Yes, you haven't. I literally told you, and I sent it to you. I said, we bought our Pride tickets.
Do you want to see my bank account right now?
You said you weren't going to because you were broke.
Yeah.
Nothing
has changed. I'm
more
broke
£30.
now.
Can you not afford £30? I won't judge because I can never afford anything.
I will tell you now. I get paid on the 25th, I think it is, every month. I have 50, well, probably less than that now, pounds.
£50?
Yeah, and I have to get to work with that money, which costs about £36 a week.
How where did all your money go?
Beyonce. And just existing, you know? This month I was like...
I usually burn through my money.
Yeah, it's just this month I've spent way too much on stuff that I wanted.
I'm doing so good this month, financially, which is very unlike me.
Yeah, well, it's my birthday month, so I was like, oh, you know what? It's a great month, so I'm just going to spend all my money. And
Fair
I did.
Enough. Well, at least you get paid just before your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I've got birthday money coming my way, so...
From everyone?
Not from everyone.
I'm guessing.
But I, like... If people ask me what I want for my birthday, I'm like, I don't want anything.
Monet.
And they're like, okay, well, I'll give you money instead. Then I'm like, okay. Which I used to hate. Like, I used to really, really hate when people would... Yeah, I don't like receiving money from people or, like, just things in general. Like, I'm like, you shouldn't have spent money on me. Like, I'm not that important. But people are like, no. Like, my mum gets really, really annoyed if I say, like...
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't want that. Like, you don't have to pay that for me. And she was like, this made me, like, U-turn on my whole, like, view on it. But she was like, I want to give you this money because that's the only way I can sort of care for you now. Because now that you're a grown-up, you have, like, I don't need to provide for you anymore. Yeah. So this is my way of showing you that, like, I'm still here and, like, still able to support you. I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, that makes sense. So now I'm just like, anytime someone wants to give me money, I'm like, oh, thanks. Which is strange. But yeah, anyway.
Good.
I'm not trying to flex
good.
that I have money because I don't.
Okay, so when you get paid, are you getting pride tickets? Or are you a homophobe?
Bitch, I was in the parade last year.
Set the record straight. Are you a homophobe?
Have you seen... Do you know Z-Way?
No.
You don't know Z-Way?
No.
I think we brought her up in the other episode where she interviewed George Santos, the drag queen congressman.
I told you about it. The guy.
No, you didn't tell me about it.
I literally told you about it.
I said, roll the tapes. He was interviewed by Z-Way and we watched it again today. Anyway, Z-Way.
Maybe we're talking about a different interview. I told you about the guy who was at the Game Awards who now has a podcast and had...
No, not him.
Oh.
George Santos, the guy that was elected...
who looks like a
politician guy.
Yeah. Who you said now is in jail.
Prison.
Yeah.
For identity fraud.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, anyway, so he's not relevant.
How did this come up?
Is the person who does interviews. She's very funny. She interviewed Renee Rapp. This is such a long-winded way of getting to this point.
What the fuck are you getting onto?
So I don't really know who Renee Rapp is, but we watched her interview with Z-Way this morning. And Rene Rapp said something like, the more gay you are, the more homophobic you become. And I stand by that. Not that I'm homophobic, but like, she was like, the more deep you get into being gay, like the more you see and the more you're like, we need to wrap it up. And I'm like,
Jesus.
Yeah, I see that. Like, the more you discover, the more you're
gay.
like, okay, that's too far. You know? Sometimes. But
Sometimes.
hey, everyone can live their life, and I don't judge. But
yeah,
sometimes
but a lot of the
I am
times it's
judging.
not about being gay. It's just the
person.
type of people. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was like, white gays are ruining it for everybody. And I was like, you know what? It's true. No one can deny it.
And the
but
reason,
it's a specific type.
Yeah, and the reason those people go wild and they just happen to be gay is because they were probably oppressed growing up. So now that they're out, they want to just
the mean gays.
Let loose. Whereas straight people would never like go wild like that because they've never struggled.
Yeah, and there's more. It's like more acceptable.
So let the people live.
No.
How about that?
No, I don't think so.
During Pride Month?
No.
Wow.
No gays.
Not a very good start to this Pride episode.
No, I mean, yeah, last year we were in Pride. We were in the
We talked about a few episodes ago about the anti-Pride.
We did, yeah. So that was fun, I guess.
It was.
Not doing it again, though, because it just ruined... In a way, it ruined the day because we were so tired from it. And
I liked it. We just had a shit DJ in our group. He was this straight guy that just put the shittest music, so it was kind of a flop.
Well, the NHS has no money for a DJ, so we didn't have a DJ. We just had someone playing music on their phone on a speaker.
Wow.
Which was fine because it was
I would have preferred that.
Gay playing music. So we got a lot of Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I would have preferred
like,
that over the flop DJ we had.
Yeah. I mean,
but we had a very good after party. Very good one.
We did not. No offense. It was just you got a free drink, but then you weren't allowed to be seen. NHS policy is you cannot drink or be seen like drinking, consuming alcohol with the NHS logo on. So our Pride t-shirts that were made for the march, we had to take them off or turn them inside out so that we were not seen as representing the NHS when we were drinking. It was
That's
one
wild.
drink. It was one drink, and I was like, really?
But why?
Because I guess it shows, like, if you got really, really wasted and was like acting a fool.
Act a fool, girl.
Act a fool, girl. Act a fool. They'd be like, well, this is what your NHS workers are doing. That's what they're spending our tax dollars on. Tax dollars? Are we in America, girl?
Oh my god.
But yeah, so that was that. And then I think because Theo was there at the same time. Oh, not Theo again. Sneaking into the podcast. But we were like, let's just dip. But you were there for ages because me.
Yeah, we were at the
like,
after party until like 5 p.m.
Yeah, I don't even
know crazy.
What we did.
Yeah, we had loads of fun at that after party. I mean, it wasn't even my company; it was a regular company.
Oh, yeah, because your company is homophobic.
Yeah, my company. Well, I know. My company's homophobic.
Have you said who you work for?
No.
Okay,
I haven't. No, my company's not homophobic. We actually have loads of gay people working there.
Yeah, the office might not be, but the actual
and they had a parade group 2 years ago, but not last year, which I was surprised by. So just saying,
views have changed.
Yeah. Can we say the F word?
No.
Why?
What do you mean why?
I feel like we should.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
it's
we're not gonna like audience.
We're not gonna like get blocked.
By who?
By the internet. Or get cancelled.
To be fair, on the Z-Way show they say it.
Well, there you go.
Up to you. Say the P word.
Oh, don't mention that. Don't mention that.
No.
We'll decide later.
Yeah.
Okay. So last episode we briefly mentioned our experience as young gays.
Bebes.
You said you knew from Even before school? What? What was that?
What?
Why did you just go? Elliot
Life
just had
flashed
a.
before my eyes.
Elliot
Had
just,
that's
Elliot
a
just
Raven
lagged.
moment.
Elliot just glitched.
What? What does that mean? Right. So yeah, I mean, I don't think I. It's hard to explain because when people are like, "Oh, so you knew?" It's like, looking back, yeah. But at the time, did I know? Did I know that's what it was? No, because as a kid, you're not
Hindsight,
told
yeah.
like, "Oh, you are allowed to like men," you know? Like it's not like common to see it, or at least it wasn't when I was a kid. Like it wasn't broadcast on like daytime television, like
Yeah.
gay couples together. So it was like, ooh, no one talks about it. So you just kind of don't know, and then you sort of like have little like feelings, and you're a bit like, what does this mean? But then you don't really like question it too much, because why would you? Why you just push it to the back of your mind, and then you end up growing up a bit more, and you're like, these feelings are not going away.
Yeah, a bit more intense.
And then it's like you're like in your teens, and you're like going through puberty, and you're like,
Oh,
oh, what's going on?
the damn
what are
hormones.
these? What are these feelings? What are these feelings? What does this mean? Because I would say from about age 11, I knew
For sure.
for sure.
That okay.
But I didn't accept it, is the difference. I knew, like, I was just in denial, very much so in denial. But I would still, in my mind, be like, oh, well, I do like this girl. And like
We'll have
when I,
very
you know, like when you have
very
like,
similar stories.
you know, when you have like, I don't know if everyone did this, but you'd, as a kid, you'd like sort of like fantasize about what your life would be like as an adult.
Yes.
I always would imagine like,
With a girl.
oh, well, like this girl, and like we could have like a family together and whatever. But deep down, I knew for a fact I wasn't thinking about her for her like body. You know? I was thinking about the men.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
it was like the idea of like, they call it like the nuclear family, where it's like the man, the woman, and the kids is like a nuclear family, like stereotypical,
Oh.
like straight family. So like, yeah, I would always like fantasize about having that sort of lifestyle, but then it was never clicking. It was always just, yeah, that's what I will have. But then when it would come to like me having actual feelings for people, it would be like,
Man.
never with a woman.
Yeah.
And I even tried really hard.
Oh. Well,
and props
it
to the
wasn't
girl.
very hard.
No, well. But yeah, props to the girl for putting up with me and my bullshit.
So when you say you tried, like you were in a relationship or like a hookup?
Dating
Okay.
ish.
And
Not
you
really.
attempted to have sexual
No.
relations.
No, mama.
Oh, it didn't go that
No,
far.
mama.
Oh.
It was never gonna go that far.
Ah.
No. My
So have you
God,
never
no.
had sex with a girl?
Have you?
No, I'm just asking.
Well, no. Do I look like I would have done?
I look?
Bitch, do I look?
Period.
No.
So you're a gold star gay.
Yeah, and I was a C-section, so I am literally.
You're a platinum gay.
I'm a platinum
so is
gay.
so is Rick.
Is he?
Yeah.
Ah.
Wow. Look
this
at
guy.
you.
But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a very weird thing.
Should we explain what a gold star and a platinum gay are? If people don't know.
For the straights watching.
Yeah, it's very easy. So a gold star gay is basically you've never been with a woman. And then if you've also been born via C-section, you're a platinum gay because you've
You've never
literally
touched a
never
vagina.
touched a vagina in your life. So yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. But yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. So when did you come out? Like when did you accept it yourself and
Well,
come out?
it was not my choice.
Were you outed?
No.
Say their names.
But pressured into it, yes.
By
Just people I was living with.
Hmm.
I was I think I spoke about it before. It was like in my first year of uni that I came out. So I had like a couple of really close friends that I was living with, and there was one really close one that was like kind of close, but she was also really good friends with everyone else in the flat, and like I didn't dislike anybody in the flat, but like they had a big group, and I was just like, I don't blend with this group of friends. Like, it's just not for me. So then I just carried on doing my own thing. And I really tried to like get in with them, but then obviously like it's just not natural. You can't force friendships to happen. So like we were just pleasant, like got on with each other and just carried on doing what we were doing. But I was never like besties with like the whole flat. It was like me and this one girl, and then this other girl I got on really well with. But whatever. Anyway, long story short, the one friend that I was really close with went away for the weekend, and I was there sort of by myself, and they'd had their other friends over to play. I think it was Cards Against Humanity, and you know, like you get blank cards that you can like write your own things on. So I obviously wasn't there like participating in the game. But then the next morning, like they'd left the flat a mess. So I was like, oh, I'll just come in and like tidy up a bit. And it's really weird because it's again like another like universe speaking to me.
Here we go again.
I was tidying up because it sounds fake, but it's 100% true. I was tidying up, and I'd seen there was one. So you're gonna ruin this moment for me. Come here. Yes. So I was tidying up the Cards Against Humanity, and as I was tidying it up, there was one card that like just fell out of the ones that I'd picked up, and I looked at it, and it was the face up, and it said, "Concealing your gay tap dancing self." Oh. And obviously, I was like, "Well, who the fuck else is that supposed to be about?" And so I was like, "Well, you know what? Fuck these guys." So I just left everything, because why would I tidy up after people after they've just been like shitty to me? And then that kind of like sent me into a bit of a spiral, and
Sawyer is just sinking into your arms,
just very slowly.
My God. Anyway, yeah.
So that sent me into a bit of a spiral of like identity crisis, and is she like snoring?
No.
Oh, sounds like it. But yeah, and then because I was like by myself, like I obviously hadn't met Andres then, so I was like literally sort of on my own. I just sort of stayed in the flat in my room for about like 3 days until my friend came back, and then obviously had a lot of time to like think and stuff. And then when she came back, I'd sort of decided that I was gonna just like tell her. And then I told her, and then she was like, "Well, do you want me to tell everyone?" And I was like, "Well, that would be better because I don't really have the confidence to tell people." And then she sort of like brought it up because I think there was like a lot of other issues that were going on in the flat at the same time. So then I think we had like a flat meeting, and like everyone sat down and like spoke about the issues, and she brought it up, and I told like the story of what had happened and how I'd found out, and they were like, "Oh, well, it was only a joke, like we were making fun of everyone, so it wasn't like personal." I was like, "Yeah, but you say that, but it's one thing to not like to make a joke about like something, I don't know, like it's quite a personal thing to make a joke about." And like when I thought like I'd come from school where like people were bullying me for being gay, I thought like going to uni where I was around like quite like lefty minded people, like I thought like it would be different. I thought people would be more like open and like not bothered by it. But then I was like, it's more hurtful because no one had sort of mentioned it to me before, like no one had said anything before. So then to find it that way, it was a bit like, oh well, I guess fuck you guys, like no one cares about me. But eventually like it just became common knowledge, and then I started going on like Tinder. I came out as bi because everyone I feel like does. Like it's safer to come out as bi, isn't it? Like
yeah.
Because it's more like there's a chance that you'll be like normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came out to like my other friends then. Just before meeting Andres, I went to go see my two like primary school best friends in one of their uni halls. And I was like, I have something to tell you guys. And then I came out to them. And then I also messaged my other friend from sixth form, the one that I was going to come out to in school. But then I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing it now. And she was like, okay, cool. And then my other two friends were like, oh, we knew. And I was like, yeah, I know everyone knew. But like, it's just like
I'm
getting
telling
into
you,
it. Yeah. And then I met Andres. And then I don't think I came out to my parents until... Like, so I came out in like November, October time to friends because of that whole scenario. But then I didn't come out until I'd met Andres and it got a bit serious. And I went to go back for my mum's birthday and I'd written a letter, which I still have the letter, which is so
Damn it, our
cringe.
stories are literally going to be the same. I did the same.
But it's like, yeah, I wrote this letter and I was like, this is what's happening. Like, this is, I'm bi. And then, yeah, it was cringe to look back at. And I just left it on my mum's dressing table after.
So did you come out to your mum as bi or gay?
In the letter, I came out as
Bi?
Yeah. And then... Yeah, so I'd left it on the dressing table and I was getting the train back. So my mum had, like, thankfully, it worked out the way that I wanted. Like, I'd left it so that then, like, it was literally the last thing I did as I was leaving the door. I was like, right, I'll just quickly run upstairs, put it on the dresser, then go out and be like, right, let's go to the train station. And then when I got on the train, a few minutes later, I got a text from my mum being like, oh, I've just read your letter. Like, nothing's changed. Like, we love you so much, blah, blah, blah. So it was very positive, generally speaking. There was like a moment where it wasn't so positive, but like that's probably another story for a little bit later. But yeah, generally it was fine. It was like, oh my god, it literally looks identical.
But it's in Greek.
Well, apart from the language. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna find it.
God, this is triggering.
Yeah, it's very. Oh, it's there. It's just called Letter.
Oh. Yeah, mine is called Mother Coming Out.
Ah, yeah, it's very weird to like think about now because like it just doesn't feel like an issue now. Do you know what I mean? Like now that, I mean, it's different for you, I guess, because your situation is different now to how mine is. Like I'm out to everyone in my family except for my nan, but it's not that I've avoided coming out to her. I think she knows about Andres, so I think she must know that we're together. And I'm pretty sure like people talk about, like, she's seen us together, she's met him like multiple times, so I'm pretty sure she knows. But I just don't want to be like, oh, by the way, like, it's a bit weird. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's weird.
No point.
But yeah, strange.
Okay.
Could read my letter.
It's I don't know if I want to.
Well, yours is in Greek anyway.
It's very personal.
Is it? Mine...
Do you not think? Mine is extreme. I don't think I would let anyone read mine.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe I'd let my sister read it. But... I mean, actually...
did you only write it to your mum?
Yeah.
Oh, see, mine was to my mum, dad, and sister. So I was like, I left one copy and I was like, you will read it.
No, mine was specifically for my mum.
Oh.
But I mean, my story of the letter was very dramatic.
Oh no.
Well, is there anything else you want to add for your?
I don't know. I mean, I have like a story of what happened afterwards, like a few months later. But that's not really part of my coming out.
Yeah,
I guess.
Okay.
But it's weird. Yeah, it's like. It's weird to think like what I was thinking about as an 18-year-old.
Oh yeah, I still look back, and I'm convinced it was a different person. I'm like, who was I? And I cannot understand what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So for me, I was 8. I remember it very vividly. I was 8 years old, 3rd grade. And I got my first big crush on a boy in my class. And he was the boy that every girl had a crush on. but he wasn't a bad boy. He was like a good boy.
Oh, okay.
Like he played basketball and he was a good student and he was very polite and nice. And literally everyone, like, how could you not have a crush on him?
Yeah.
Especially when you're like 8 years old. And we were friends, and our sisters were the same age, and they were friends. So I used to see him when our sisters got together, whatever. And I remember I hadn't told anyone, obviously, but even though I knew, like back then, I don't know how, at the age of 8, I knew.
You just
I
know.
knew what
it's
I
so
knew
hard
what
to
gay
explain.
is. I knew
Yeah.
what gay was.
But you
And-
just didn't know to call it that
yeah,
kind of thing. It's just like,
and
it's very
obviously
weird.
I grew up in Cyprus, which extremely conservative, like especially back then, growing
Is
up.
it Catholic?
No, Orthodox,
Oh,
still Christian.
yeah.
Um,
But is it quite a religious country?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but it's not even that. Like religion is not even that big of a part of why
Oh, it's
gay
just like a
people are.
stigma.
Yeah, it's just a horrible thing. Anyway, and so I had this crush, and we were friends. And I remember, it's so stupid. Like I don't know why I remember this detail. Like in like art class, we had to like paint a person, and I remember I painted this like girl, and he painted this boy, and we pretended like they were a couple, and then we pretended like we were a couple in real life.
Oh my God.
And like I was the woman and he was the man.
Yeah.
And obviously for him it was like a game, but I was like
in it, fully invested.
in the clouds. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, and then there was this Burger King in Cyprus which had a big playground area, and it was the thing, like every kid in elementary school would have their birthday
Yeah.
in that Burger King.
Yeah.
And at one of the birthdays, so one of his closest friends was also one of my friends, and we would only talk at these birthday parties in the playground area. We found like a little tube that was like isolated, and we made it like our little hub.
Yeah.
And me and him would go in there and talk every time we were at a party. And one time I was like, I'm going to tell him, because they were best friends. And so we were
tell
in...
him that you had a crush on him.
Yeah. And
Oh
so
my
we were
God.
in there, and I said, can I tell you something? But you have to promise you won't tell anyone. And he was like, yeah. We were kids. And I said, I'm gay, and I like him, his name. And I told him, I said, I'm gay. Like, I knew what that was.
Oh my God.
And he was like, what? And I was like, no, you're not. And I was like, yes. And then he was fine, which actually goes to show how kids are just,
Yeah.
they
Oh my
literally
God.
don't give a fuck.
No.
He didn't give a fuck. He was like, okay. And then he was like, do you want me to talk to him about your, like, bring you up? And I was like, oh, anyway. And then he, like, I don't know, tried to, like, bring me up to him and see what his reaction would be. And I even asked him, I was like, does he talk about me? Does he say anything about me? And he was like, not really. Anyway, I got over him.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what switched in my head, but literally the next year, like 4th grade, something just flipped in my head, and suddenly, like, all of that went straight to the back of my mind, and I was like, I'm not gay. Like,
Oh, that's strange.
what? I'm not. What? No. And also at that age, I was using my brother's computer. We had one computer in the house that was my brother's, and I used it. And I think that's where I found out, like, what it was, like, gay, and that gay people exist. And
Yeah.
and there was this show in America, I think it was called Around the World or something. It's like a soap opera, but it had a gay storyline in it. And I found this gay storyline online, and there was like a YouTube playlist with like just the clips of like their storyline. And I thought the whole show was about them. And I watched the whole thing, and it was Luke and Noah, and they were like my first representation of what being gay is. And I was obsessed. I was hooked. I was like, yes, this is it. And I used to, oh my God, which I don't know how my mom never found, but I used to like print out pictures of them together and like cut them out and hide them in like things. Anyway, so then I got over that, and I pushed it all back. And growing up, everyone used to make fun of me and call me gay because I was very skinny and kind of effeminate.
Yeah.
And I used to do ballet, which I used to hide from everyone. But but there were rumors. People like kind of knew, but I never confirmed. And like people would come up to me and be like, "You do ballet?" And I'd be like, "What? No, ew, I don't do ballet. What?" Which is so stupid. And then middle school came around, and I was obviously a teenager. All the hormones. I had big crushes on my boy classmates, but like these crushes were more sexual because you're a teenager, and obviously your body reacts very differently, but I would still like not admit it, and I was like, I'm not gay. I like girls. Like I like girls, and like it's so fucking weird. Like in my brain I would say, yes, I'm attracted to guys, and I recognize that,
but I'm not gay.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yeah,
make it make sense. I would literally admit to myself, yes, I find him so hot. Like, I'm so sexually attracted to men, but I'm not gay.
Yeah.
But I like girls. And I used to think, oh, it's fine. It's because I haven't met the right girl yet. Or as soon as I meet the right girl, I'll be attracted to her.
Yeah. You're still waiting on that.
Yeah.
That day has not come yet.
And then anyway, I went through middle school like that. Then I went to high school, same thing. And in high school I had bigger crushes on girls, but it wasn't like I had crushes on girls and I liked girls, but I was never attracted to them sexually, never. And I always it troubled me as a high schooler. And I used to think, why am I not attracted to I was like, I like this girl so much and I want her to be my girlfriend, but I'm not attracted to her sexually. And I used to say, to convince myself, I used to say that it's because I respect girls so much. I was like, I'm not like the other guys.
Such a feminist.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not like the other guys that only see them as like sexual whatever. I respect them, and I love girls and I respect them. And when I eventually have a girlfriend, then I'll develop this sexual attraction, which is wild. Like the things
it's like
I came
the
up
mental
with.
gymnastics that you do to yourself to like convince yourself like, oh, everything's still hunky-dory. Like,
yeah.
It's weird. It's so strange.
And yeah, like at my final year of high school, I had this huge crush on this girl that I wrote a letter.
Like genuinely?
Yeah. That's so not sexual though.
In what way though?
I just liked her personality.
So like,
and she was she was a friend of mine, but I wanted her to be my girlfriend. It was weird. While at the same time, I would go home and like watch gay porn, you know, and fully be like, I'm straight.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. I like ever since I discovered porn as a teenager, it was always gay porn. I've never in my life watched straight. I'm sorry to the people who know me now know what porn I used to watch. But yeah, I never even dabbled in straight porn, and yet I was convinced I was straight. And so I had this huge crush on this friend of mine, but she had a crush on a different friend, and they ended up together. Hated that guy. He was such a bitch, such a little bitch. And when we finished high school, I was going to go in the army. She was going to go off and study in the UK. And so I wrote her this letter, big letter, confessing my love.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I still have it. Because I was such a like cutesy little friend. I wrote a letter to every single, because all my friends were girls. Also, another tell.
Yeah.
Literally all my friends were girls growing up.
That's because you're a ladies' man.
Exactly. And so when they were all going to leave to go study and I was going to go in the army, so all my friends were leaving me. So I wrote them all separately a letter and a poem each. They all still have it. But for this girl, it was different. It was actually a confession of love. And we met at a park like the day before she was going to leave for the UK. And I was like, here you go. Here's this letter. I was like, read it on the plane. I was like, don't read it.
God.
Just read it on the plane or whatever. And she was like, oh, okay. And I told her that, I wrote everyone a letter, whatever. And then she hadn't like messaged me for like 2 weeks. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I messaged her friend who knew I liked her. And I was like, do you know if she told you anything? And she said, I don't know. She's been very busy with like adjusting to the new life, whatever. And then she messaged me afterwards and basically a huge message saying she didn't know, she doesn't feel the same way, blah, blah, blah. And then we never spoke again.
To this day?
Yes. I mean, I'm pretty sure now she knows I'm gay.
Yeah.
But then I found out, I don't know how I found this out. I think she told me, or a friend of hers told me, that she never actually read the whole thing. That she got to the point where I said that I loved her or whatever, and then she just didn't read the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Which is so annoying because I put so much in that letter. Anyway, obviously I got over it because... Yeah. But then I was in the army, and that's where things started changing. Not because I was in the army. It wasn't because I was surrounded by men. But it was because I was very alone. I was very isolated.
Yeah.
All my friends had left. I was in this... My army camp was like on this on the side of this mountain in the middle of nowhere. And it was so quiet, so peaceful. I was surrounded by nature. We were like 11 people in the whole camp, so it was a very small group as well. And I used to spend so many hours by myself. And like there's nothing else to do but just think.
Yeah.
And I'll just think and reflect and reflect. And at that time, I developed a different huge crush on a different girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Yes. She was even bigger than the high school one.
Oh God.
And to this day, she's one of my closest friends. I love her to bits. To this day, I say if I was straight, she would have been the love of my life. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. And like, she's the most beautiful girl, like physically, and she like her personality and everything. That's another one though that I was never sexually attracted to. And God, I remember like I tried pushing myself so hard to think of her in like a sexual way because I was convinced that she was the one.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the girl that's going to prove to me that I am straight. Didn't happen. But yeah, we're still super close. And then
it's weird that like there must be some like subsection of sexuality that describes that, because it's interesting that you've had like very strong feelings for a woman, but not like in a sexual way.
That's the thing. I'm like, even now that I'm fully out, like gay. I don't invalidate what I felt back then. Like I fully felt very strong love feelings for maybe not the high school one, but this one that I in the army. But I also think that it's because I was very confused and I was like trying to force it. Maybe almost. It was
like just feeding delusions.
Yes. Yeah. And so all those hours alone, I met this guy who was from a different camp, and we met through a mutual friend. We went out one night, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, he's gay. I knew. Very gay. And throughout the night, he must have also realized for me, because he was very much like just talking to me. It was a big group of friends, but even though he'd just met me, he was only talking to me. We exchanged phone numbers, everything. And so I was like, we went back into our camps, and we started texting, and we were texting every day. And then every time we were on duty at the same time, we would call each other and like spend like 2 hours on the phone to pass the time together, like in the crazy hours of the morning. And then one of those times, it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and we were on the phone, and he said, he said, he said, tell me something no one knows about you. And I was like, oh, here we go. And I was like, I don't know, you've put me on the spot, you go first. And he was like, okay, well, the first time I had sex or whatever was with a guy, or the first time I kissed someone was a guy. And I was like, oh, okay. Surprise,
We've been
surprise.
new.
Yeah. So he basically said he was gay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've got something similar. I told him, I think I'm bi. And that was the first time I said it like out loud, or like I realized. I was like, oh, maybe it's not just black and white. Maybe those feelings for like that girl are real, but I'm also have feelings for boys.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm bi. So I told him I'm bi. And then we had this whole thing, and he was the first person I talked to about that, and we were talking about it for ages. Then we kind of drifted. I don't know what happened. And then I came to the UK, finally, after the army. And I was still bi at first. And then I went on my first date with a boy in Sheffield. And we kissed or whatever. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, this is
the
it.
gig is up now.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gay. This is what it's meant to feel like.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I came out to my closest friends, and they were also like, I was so nervous. Like, my two closest friends was Penny and another friend of ours from Cyprus. And I'd gone back for Christmas to Cyprus, and we were all together. And I told them, and they were like, yeah, we knew. And I was like, fuck you.
That's the worst part of it, I think. It's like, because you know that they know, and obviously they do know, but like you've like psyched yourself up for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And like made it into such a big thing. And like, you know, like you're obviously your best friends, you know what their intentions are. Like, you know where their heart is, like, you know who they are as a person. So deep down you do know, like, oh, they would never have anything bad to say about me.
Yeah,
regardless.
it's crazy. Well, that
But
just
it's
goes
like,
to
it's
show.
just so scary getting to that point.
Exactly.
And just being like, oh my god, what if I lose everything in this moment?
Exactly. That just goes to show like how difficult it is, like even to your closest friends that you know they love you and they're your friends forever. It's so
I think
difficult
friends
to
is
say.
harder than family, because
No, are you kidding me?
no, I think it is, because friends, if you lose your friends, you have to basically start your whole life again, because they are the people who you've chosen to stick with for like your life. Like, you formed these bonds with people. Like, it's a it's a
I get what you
reciprocal
mean.
bond. Whereas
Yeah.
when it's a family, like, even if you hate your family, you still have that like family bond. Like, they're always going to be family. So like, there's obviously they can like disown you or whatever, but like, I think it's harder to have like trust in your friends, and then for them to break that trust and be like, actually, I don't want to be associated with you anymore because of this. Like, I think that's worse, because you've chosen to be friends with them, you've chosen to trust them, and they just break that. Whereas with your family, it's like, well, I never chose to be with you. Like, I'm with you because we are blood relatives. Like, it's, I don't know. It's
Well,
weird.
thankfully, none of my friends reacted that
Yeah,
way.
no, none of
Thankfully, every friend I came out to was very positive. So yeah, then after that, I was out. I was coming out to like my friends gradually, and until everyone knew. And then I hadn't come out to my parents because I was in uni, and I was like, there's literally no point in facing that now.
Yeah.
But
See,
then
that's when I found it was the perfect opportunity, because I was away from
I guess
it. So like, my way of dealing with it was I can just let them have their space to process.
Well, so I didn't think about it, and then as the years, I'm saying it as if it was like 5 years, whatever. It was 3 years in uni, but like as time went on, I kept feeling more and more bothered that they didn't know. I was like, I want to tell, like, at least my mum. I'd come out to my sister, which was also kind of difficult, but like I knew she didn't have a problem, and we were fine. Yeah. My sister's awesome. And so when I finished uni and I had to move back to Cyprus for just a little bit, I was like, this is it. I have to tell like my mum. I can't like keep it in anymore. And so I wrote a letter, which I've done it many times to my parents. I just always write letters. Every time they see a letter from me, they panic.
Shit's about to go down.
Yeah. So I wrote a letter to my mum. Well, I wrote a message to her. Well, I wrote a letter and then I copy and pasted it into like a message.
Oh, okay.
And I'm so dramatic. I got on the plane and I was like, I was so nervous. I didn't want to know her reaction. So I was like, I'm going to send it just before we take off and then put my phone on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And then just go on my flight. Which is such a stupid idea, because then you spend 5 hours on the plane making all of these scenarios of like how she's reacted.
Yeah.
And so, but I was like, oh, well, what if she's not on her phone and she doesn't see it? But so before we just took off, I messaged her and I was like, I'm going to send you something. Keep an eye on your phone. And she was like, what? And I was like, okay, she's there. And I also warned my sister. I was like, just so you know, just in case she comes and talks to you, like, I'm doing this. I'm not going to go into the aftermath. But I did that. And then as soon as I landed, I turned on my phone and saw the reaction. But yeah, not going into the aftermath. But yeah, that's my growing up, coming out experience.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, maybe people could see it. But there was like things that I feel like I should have said, but I don't want to like expose anyone.
Yeah.
Because if I say, I mean, there's one thing that after I have rambled, I will get into, because I don't care about this person anymore because they kind of fucked me over. But like there's stuff that's happened when I was younger that like involved other people that I'm like, I can't, because if I say what it is and who it is about, it's like there's only one person it could be, you know? Right. So like I'm not gonna go there, because if someone knows me, it's just gonna cause issues for
drama.
Someone.
Yeah.
But the other thing is very public. Like I've spoken about it to many people, and it was obvious at the time as well, because so basically when I was in sixth form, so 16, 17, 18 years old, I was studying music technology as one of my A-levels, and there was this guy who was on that course. And
did you tell me about this?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't remember. Yeah,
I must have done. But I remember him because he was in the same school. Like we were in the same school, but he was in like the other wing of the school. So like, it's stupid. The school was split into different wings, even though like the classrooms were next to each other. Like it wasn't like the school was not split anyway. So it was just a way to have like different classes for like the amount, like double the amount of students, but like have half the amount of students in the class kind of thing. Okay. So we were in separate wings of the school. So I never really spoke to him, but I always like knew who he was and like was like, he's cute. But obviously I wasn't out in school, so like no one ever knew about this. Then he was on this, he was doing the music technology A-level with me, and he spoke to me. Like the people who were on that, like in that class with me, were people that I'd never met really before, because they were all from the other wing. So like no one really wanted to speak to me. Like they already knew each other, so I was just kind of like a tag along.
Right.
And eventually, like me and him started to get on a lot more, and we like started chatting more. Then he got a girlfriend, and I didn't really know her at the time as well, because like she'd only just started in the school. So they started going out together, and then like we got to like parties and stuff, like house parties, and like we eventually just got really close. And it got to a point where he was like telling me he loved me.
Oh, I think you've told me.
He would come up behind me when we were in the music studio and like hug me, and we were at this one party, like as in like he would like full on cuddle me, which is obviously very confusing for a little closeted gay boy.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I really love you, Elliot." And I was like,
Jesus.
Okay. I was like, "Oh, shut up." Carry on with what I'm doing. And then yeah, we were at this one house party, and like this was like maybe at like the peak of our friendship. And he still had this girlfriend. And I was like friends with a few of her friends as well. And he and at the same time, actually, my friend was trying to set me up with this girl that I was dating on the same night. It all happened on the same night. It was very confusing for my little pea brain. So he was trying to like coach me on like how I should deal with her, and like what I should do with her, on that night. And obviously I was like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I'm so scared. And he was just like, oh yeah, like, you know what my girlfriend does that really drives me crazy is this. And he nibbles on my earlobe.
Oh my God.
And I'm obviously like,
hard.
What? No. I'm just like,
bricked.
What the hell is going on here? Because I had a huge crush on him as well. Like, he
obviously
fine, and like he's only got more attractive.
No
Tino shade. But
show me to me, Rachel.
I will after this. But that also comes into the issues. So yeah, he did that to me, and then he was like talking about stuff.
The gay baiting.
Then we were like in like one of the rooms of the house, and his girlfriend was there, and her friend, who was also like one of my friends, and him and me, and we were just chatting and like laying on the bed or something, and we were all just like, oh, blah, 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 like whatever. And then they were like, oh, like the guy and the girlfriend were like, oh, you two like just like kiss, like just do a little peck.
Oh,
and I was
God.
like to this girl, and I was like, oh, okay, fine.
That's gay, bro.
Like, and then they were like, right, now you two kiss, to me and the guy. And guess what? He kissed me.
Of course.
And then another, like, that was just another triggering
like just a
thing.
peck or like a full-on...
Yeah, not like a full-on, like...
make-out session.
But that was just, like, wild. And then in the same night, I'm then supposed to be getting with this girl that my other friend is trying to set me up with. And so I was just like, my head was just in a really weird place. And then from that moment on, I was supposed to be dating this girl, and he was trying to like talk me through it and be like, oh yeah, you're like, you should do this, like you should say this to her, like you should go and do this together.
Was teaching you how to finger or...
No, like dates and stuff, like...
Oh.
Not like in
not
that way. Like I was not, no, I was never going to be doing that with her. My God. But then yeah, after like a few months, I like... called things off with that girl. I was like, I need to focus on my studies. And she was like, okay. But then like, yeah, when we were still in school, like he kept bringing up the fact that we'd kissed, and I was like,
in what way? Like,
he'd just be like, oh, remember that night? And I'd be like, yeah.
Want to recreate it?
And I'd be like,
no, you
so
should have been
now?
like, no, I don't remember. Why don't you jog my memory?
Yeah. But it was just like wild. And then obviously like we followed each other on Instagram from school. Then I go to uni, come out, have a boyfriend. He's unfollowed me.
Oh. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you've told me definitely about this, but I forgot.
He's either in denial.
Oh yeah.
Or
fully
doesn't want to face the fact that he was getting crushed on by a guy. But he's very attractive, so like it's obviously gonna happen. So it's just, I don't think it was that. I think he's probably just homophobic. But yeah.
I think he's just in denial. Denial is a river in Egypt. What was that accent?
I don't know.
Egypt.
It's Wendy Williams. She's
your husband is gay.
But yeah, so that was that. I think just men deserve nothing in life. Men deserve to be burnt at the stake.
Oh God. Anyway, happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. Burn all the straight men.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Cool that I got rejected by a straight guy. Yeah, love that. Period.
Yes, happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Be who you are. Just
that was a very serious episode. I feel like it started off very like lighthearted, and then it got very deep.
Anyway,
but it was good. It was nice.
Love your friends and your family. Yes. No matter what.
Yeah.
Gay is okay.
Gay. Have you seen the guy? You know the oh, you sent it to me actually today. Why are you gay? He was on a podcast.
Oh my
but
God,
also
we have to
that
talk
guy, the guy that was interviewing him, very
don't know.
questionable. It was like, in your African accent, it makes it funnier or something. And I was
Do you think that was racist?
I don't think it's racist, but you like, I don't
yeah.
know, saying your African accent is like, really? Like, Africa is bigger than like most continents in the world, and you're gonna say there's only one accent? Like,
He didn't say that. He just said his accent.
he said African accent.
Yeah, it is an African accent.
It is one
of
but he could have just said your accent. Anyway,
but yeah, the Fern doesn't know there's this very. I mean, everyone knows the meme of this African man on TV interviewing.
Which people were saying is a skit.
No,
skit.
it wasn't.
No, I know it's not. But people in the comments were like, "Was it a skit?"
No.
A
But yeah,
is a
this
very
man
different thing.
was interviewing this LGBTQ activist, and he's like, "Why are you gay?
Yeah.
Who says I'm gay?
Oh.
You are gay." Anyway, he's now come back and did an interview about that moment, and there's lots behind the scenes of what was going on, which is funny. So yeah, I sent it to you this morning.
Yes. So yeah, any thoughts?
Soya, are you gay?
Do
you think Soya's gay? Do you think she's a big old lesbian?
I think she's asexual. She doesn't have any thoughts. It's
wow,
kind of hard to
so you're saying asexual people don't have thoughts?
No, I said she doesn't have thoughts, so I do not see her as a sexual being, because she's just a little bean.
She's a little bean. She's just a little princess. She's just a little baby.
She is.
And also, she is a baby. She's only like 2. She's a baby.
Well, what's that in human years?
I don't know, probably not even 18. She's a baby. Anyway.
Well,
Happy
that's
Pride.
that. Happy Pride, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you. And hope you enjoyed
We hope
our
some
very
of
personal
you,
stories.
Yeah, we hope some of you could relate
Yeah.
or just learn a bit more about us and our experiences.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm tired. I need a nap.
We need to play Mario Kart.
Oh.
For realsies.
Oh. Right. See you next week.
See you next week. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, feedback, follow on everything.
Period.
Got it.
Period.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye.